Thank you, Nikos. And we are about to start probably. And my dear members, esteemed guests, welcome everybody to our first March meeting. And I will be the Toastmaster of the evening. And my role for tonight is just to make everything run smoothly from the beginning to the end. And what's interesting is that during the winter that passed, so many events took place. The pandemic escalated once again, and we have experienced a series of extreme weather phenomena. But among all these adversities, there was one constant that gives warmth to our hearts despite all the hardships. And it's our Wednesday Toastmaster meetings here at the HAU. And if that couldn't possibly suffice, a spring meeting, the first spring meeting. So Pablo Neruda said that you can cut all the flowers, but you cannot keep spring from coming. So as you may have noticed, this is the meeting for tonight, the meeting theme, which is spring. And I will give the floor to our dear President Georgia to officially open the meeting and provide some initial remarks. And I invite you all people to let us have a meeting with speeches that will make our hearts blossom. The floor is yours, Georgia.
Thank you so much for this wonderful introduction, Rikos. What a lovely spirit, and exactly what I was going to say. Since last time we met, the world has changed so much that a lot of things I was preparing to say, maybe they're obsolete, but nevertheless, I like to keep the spirits high. So first of all, I would like to welcome a wonderful international guest. And again, I will repeat because we had the unofficial introductions at the beginning. So first of all, I'd like to welcome Stephanie from Didcot Toastmasters in UK. She's going to be a general evaluator. And why I'm saying this, because not only is it amazing, but also it's the first time this is going outside her club in the world. Right, Stephanie?
Yes, that's right. So up until this point, and I've been doing Toastmasters for about 2.5 years now, I've only ever attended Didcot, so this is my first exploration across the world to see what other clubs do. And it's perfect then that I take on the role of general evaluator to perhaps look at how we might introduce or understand what you do, areas of improvement and areas for us to take back as well. So a really fantastic opportunity for me being here tonight. So thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for coming. You're so welcome. Now, I would like to continue with Kay and welcome Sam Warner. Sam is just simply amazing. I'm so happy she's here because I'm just going to say it again. Not only is she very eloquent, she's a professional, she's marvelous to listen, to watch and everything, but also she has something that only very few people that I've met in life have. And I've done over 500 workshops at this point in my life. A lot of people are very good at what they're doing, but they cannot, transmit it. They cannot really teach others. Now, every time I sit in a workshop with Sam, I learn and become better. I'm very delighted and honored that you're here. So Sam, welcome. I don't know if you'd like to address something at this point or later in your workshop. You're very welcome to do. Okay, we will have the pleasure of listening to you later. Thank you for coming again. And I would like to welcome Samir Takri from Morocco, Eloquent Toastmasters Morocco. And maybe you have seen this wonderful film, Casablanca. Anybody? Casablanca, a classic film. And of course, Humphrey Bogart, where comes Ingrid Bergman, as it says, from all the clubs and all the joints of the world, you walk into mine. Paraphrasing that, I would like to say, from all the clubs in the world that I've been and all the table topic sessions I've been, Samir is still my favorite. So I wanted him to come eventually, and Hajar, who's joining us later, because the people in Morocco just stole my heart. They have amazing meetings, and they've been amazing Toastmasters. And we need your enthusiasm, Samir, because these days everything is changing. So welcome to Greece.
Thank you, Georgia. I'm so happy to be here with us, with you. I will try to give you an enthusiastic and energetic improvisation session that we will enjoy all.
Thank you. You don't have to try to do anything. You are that enthusiasm always. You're walking enthusiasm. And also, we're waiting for Hajar. Hajar just messaged me that she was delayed at work, but she's joining us later. And again, the reason I invited Hajar, a person that I really wanted to bring to the club, because Hajar is also an inspirational speaker herself. You'll see by herself how she is the mission she's talking about, and I'm looking forward for her speech as well. Having said that, I would like to say we are Athens Hellenic American Unit Toastmasters, and part of Toastmasters International. We provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Our motto of the club is speak better, sound better, lead better. And of course, we follow the Toastmasters International core values, which is RISE, respect, integrity, service, and excellence. Now, I just want to share something because it's important. And this happened almost like an accident, but it happened, and it shows something for this club. So allow me to share my screen. Okay, so this is our district, for those who are not from our district. Okay, and this is the countries. And during the last two meetings, before the end of February, actually, our club came first in all the district. So and I'm Visigal, so from 131 clubs, and this is all of our area, our club came first in terms of the achievements, and we are now candidate of President Distinguished Club. So I'd like to congratulate everybody. I have to say we were not running to be first. We were just doing our job as we usually do, but it's good news. And I would like to congratulate, of course, first the officers for their hard work, because that made it possible. And of course, all the members and all the guests and all the workshop professionals that joined us and made us better and made our meetings more exciting. So congratulations to all. And we're looking forward to keep our membership above the 20 members, because that's another, if we lose that membership, we lose that distinction. So keep that in mind. We have the incentive for Bring Your Friend event, and this is also the renewal spirit. So let's put it all together. But also in the spirit of our days, as I was looking them up, there was another map that I saw, and again, I wanted to share with you because that also has been in my mind for a very long time now. And this is the map of our region. So Greece belongs in Europe, and this is the region we belong, and this is all region 10. As you can see in region 10, both the countries that are now the forefront of the news are part of our family. So having said that, and in the spirit of keeping ourselves engaged and also focused, I was wondering, what can we do? So I'd like to invite you to think of peace inside of you and peace outside of you. And having said that, what can we do as a club? Can we do a lot of things? Well, maybe we can, because last week, the club offered a very customized workshop for 13 refugees in collaboration with a non-governmental organization called SISTEC, for which Sam Warner has been also a trainer. And again, thank you, Sam, for coming today so I can publicly acknowledge that, because it was a groundbreaking event in collaborations with Thick as a Toastmaster. Vasily Key was also there. And what was really impactful is we had 100% breakthrough for all the participants. From the minute we started, the minute we finished, all of them stood up, spoke, and did what we call the elevator pitch. So I'll just say that in all my Toastmasters experience, this has been the most meaningful workshop that I've ever supported. And it starts from here. The better you become here in the meetings, wherever club you belong in the world, you have the chance one day to experience how transformational power over people that they really need the skills, because they are looking forward to change their lives. If they do well in their presentations, if they succeed in the interviews, they will change the future. So I hope this gives you a perspective for the future, especially regarding what we experience. Now, I know I'm speaking a little bit more today because, again, we haven't seen each other for a long time and many things happened. I just want to say also that this month we have the evaluations month. We were waiting for the new members to start giving speeches so we can help them become better evaluators. So we're going to have 3 workshops in evaluations, some today, Steve Hansen at the next meeting, and the last meeting is going to be probably round robin evaluations in a collaboration with Las Vegas Toastmaster Club, if the time difference allows it. And also from today, we will be having we open the nominations for the new officers. The elections will take place in May, but the positions are opening from now. So if anybody's interested in becoming an officer for next year, we will be here, the present officers, to answer your questions, and we will send you a form and also the information to see about the roles. More of that later. And with that, I would like to say that it's been a pleasure having all the friends back in the club, and I hope we have a great meeting. And I suggest that I would like to call now upon Despina Sideri, if you can give a very brief presentation of her Vice President of Public Relations role, so we can start all this presentation about the new officers, and then we continue with our VP of Membership, and then we continue the agenda of today's meeting. Thank you.
Yes. Hello, everyone. The brief of the VPPR role is to promote the club mostly in the social media. My personal view and what I want to share with you and why you should grab the chance and take the role for the next year is that through that role you can express your creativity, and when you are making the posts for the events, and your writing skills when you make the announcements, and when you are writing a small journal about the event and how was our event after the meetings. And it is a very interesting role. And what is also important, and it's good for you, is that you can also expand your social media skills. You can become more professional. We all know how to use social media. We all have a Facebook page, a LinkedIn page, a Twitter, Instagram, all this for our personal use, but use it in a business form or in a professional way. This is the chance, this is that you can grab, and through the promotion of the club to the social media world, you can expand your social media skills too. So I definitely suggest you to try, give it a shot. That's all from me. For more, of course, information, we can talk. You can contact me, my phone or messenger. Okay, whatever you want.
Thank you,
I'm here
Despina.
to tell you through all this experience that I had this year.
Lovely. Thank you for all the work you've been doing. Wonderful. And thank you for the presentation. Adelaida, would you also like to present the Vice President of Membership?
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and guests, hello everyone. So, as Vice President of Membership, you initiate contact with guests and help them feel welcome. You provide hospitality and members' information to the guests. You reply to all communication from prospective members. And you manage the process of converting guests into members. Now, I just said the most important responsibilities. So basically what you do, as I said, is simply that you speak with members, either through emails, you speak with guests, basically, prospective members, either through emails or Zoom meetings. You act accordingly to each situation, and you provide information about our club. The skills that you will learn from this experience are marketing, networking, and relationship building, as you will have to speak with people that you don't know, and you have to understand them basically, and try to persuade them to be members. So you need communication skills, organization and problem solving, and critical thinking at the same time. Now, if any one of you wants to take this role, you can contact me, send me an email. Maybe we can speak from Zoom as well. So whoever has a question about the Vice President of Membership role, he or she can contact me through the email, so WhatsApp also. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Adelaida. Again, thank you so much for your work. And I have to say, as president, I'm so proud of the officers. Lovely presentations. I'm biased, but I'm saying. And with that, we concluded the president's opening and the remarks. And I would like to give the floor back to the Toastmaster of the day for the continuation of our agenda. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Georgia, Adelaida, and Vasiliki for all the interesting information shared. And I will share a brief review of the structure of the meeting, which is first we are starting with the prepared speeches. Afterwards, we have a very interesting workshop, then the evaluation, incorporating the feedback we had from the workshop. And finally, last but not least, we're having the table topic session, the awards and the reports. So now we will have a brief introduction of the supporting roles of the meeting, which today are somewhat limited to the bare minimum in the interest of time. So our first role is our timer and president, Georgia. Tell us some things about your role. Thank you, Georgia.
Thank you, Erikos. I'm multitasking as every time. So today I'm going to be your timer as well. And we have prepared speeches and impromptu speeches, and all of them are within time. The time will be indicated before each speech, and the minimum time is marked by the color green, which means if you've seen that, you're doing all right. And then the yellow indicates that you have about 1 minute to start concluding. And when you reach the red color, that means it's about time to finish. You have a buffer of 30 seconds before green and after red to conclude your speech. And I hope this been, we will again in each session remind to the speakers what is the time limit. Thank you very much.
Thank you once again so much, Georgia. And now we have our esteemed guest, Stephanie. If you would like to say some things about your role, introduce yourself or whatever you like. Thank you. Your floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. I'm here tonight as your general evaluator, which means that I'll be evaluating the session as a whole, as opposed as looking at some of the supporting roles. This evening, that will be primarily Georgia, our Toastmaster, and the evaluators that we have this evening too. Evaluation is a critical element of our Toastmaster journey, and getting feedback is really important too. We have it through our speeches, but each of those roles is doing impromptu speaking all the way through the session. So it's important that we get feedback on that as well to look at how we can better improve our meetings and our communication style. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Stephanie. Indeed, it is so much critical. And now we have a last-minute change for everyone. If Adelaida is ready, we can proceed with her being the first speaker. But before that, maybe we can, evaluating Adelaida's speech, we have Takis Gounaris. And Takis, if you can share some information about the pathway of Adelaida and the objectives of the speech.
Thank you very much, Erikos. Hello, everyone. So today, Adelaida will be giving a very interesting speech. The speech title is, I have an interview. Now what? Let's find out. The pathway Adelaida's on is called innovative planning. and her speech objectives today are to practice the skills and needs to present herself well in an interview. Back to you, Erikos.
Thank you so much, Takis. Now, preparation before an interview is a key to success. Today, Adelaida will be going through an interview for a job as an English teacher at the HAU, at the Hellenic American Union. So, I have an interview. Now what? Adelaida Zonga. Adelaida Zonga, I have an interview. Now what? The floor is yours, Adelaida.
Thank you. By the way, my interviewer will be Vasiliki Xefteri.
So, Adelaida, that's a very nice name. I like it.
Thank you.
Welcome to HAU.
Thank you.
It's really interesting that we are conducting this interview online, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Thank you for giving me such an opportunity.
It is a pleasure. Now, I would like to start by listening to a couple of things that you would like to say about yourself.
So, my whole life, I liked to read books. I love the Jane Eyre, Oliver Twist, also Shakespeare's. I adored Romeo and Juliet and Hamlet, which is my favorite play, by the way. So I decided that later on it could be good for me to do something that I could like. So I decided to be an English teacher, to study English language and literature. I'm a person that is very patient, flexible, adaptable. So, which I believe are the skills that an English teacher needs. I'm also very active as a person, and it seems like I like challenges a lot because I'm in the university, which Hellenic American University. I am a member of student council. I'm the vice president of membership in Toastmasters, vice president in the book club in the university, and I'm also a member in many other clubs as well.
Nice. It's always nice to have active people. So you're already familiar with the surroundings of the HAU. Why would you like to work here and not to a different school in order to have some sort of different experience?
When I started studying in the Hellenic American University, I was seeing some students there that were not obviously students as in my age. They were younger, and I was curious in the beginning to learn about them. So I started asking my own professors. They motivated me because they saw my grades that were very high. So they motivated me and they were very encouraging to apply to this job.
Okay, so what is, if you would like to say in 3 words, what is the most interesting thing about HAU? What would you say?
HAU has a very good reputation, which is outside the university as well. It has good people because from what I'm seeing, I'm a student there, so I know that very well. Very helpful people. This.
So let's go to teaching. You said you want to study English literature, but that doesn't mean that you are going to be a teacher, right? What is it that you like most about teaching?
For me, it's not teaching. For me, it's not only simple. It's not simply trying to teach a language. It's to be able to make the child to communicate in an effective way. This is what I like. I want to make each person succeed in their life, even if that's with a language or not. It's about communication mostly. And as I want to be an English teacher, as I am an English teacher, by the way, so I want to be able to help children, and not only, or adults, to effectively communicate in their life, to be able to travel or in their own jobs.
I see that you don't have much experience teaching. What makes you confident that you will be able to stand in a class full of, let's say, teenagers and not get yourself in trouble?
I am a freelancer teacher, and I have already taught levels B2 and C2, and also more lower levels. I was tutoring in an English language school where I took also my degree, a proficient degree. I don't believe I believe basically that I can handle every situation. Because as I said in the beginning, I'm a person that likes challenges. So I believe that everything can be handled in a way. I know how to approach people, because also in the beginning, I didn't know how to teach younger students. They needed constant engagement in the classroom. They were very active as people, and that in the beginning was a struggle for me. But I learned how to handle such a situation. So I know that everything can be handled, and I know that I will learn to handle it as well.
So how do you deal with stressful situations? What tactics do you use?
When stress situations comes, I try to do some breathing exercises, which I have learned that are very effective in a way.
Right. So let's say that there is a student who has a tantrum. How do you deal with that?
If there's a problem with a student, I will, from what I have learned, I have already tried to, I will try to learn about the student, the problem it has, and act accordingly to its problem.
So what is it that you like most about teaching? You said about it's challenging and you help people, but what about the procedure? When you are in the class, what is it that you really like?
I like that whenever the class finishes, I know that students have left the class happy because they know they have learned something. I like to be able to provide and help them level up in a way.
So how do you motivate your students?
I have understood that students need constant engagement. So I motivate them through activities. If they are younger students, we have basically a variety of activities. So if they are, as I said, if they are younger students, I will try to maybe with games or group activities, pair activities. When I try to engage them, they don't really need motivation because they're already engaged into the lesson.
Nice. So what can you do for us that someone else cannot? Why should we choose you?
As I said before, I am a member. I'm the vice president of membership in Toastmasters, which is an organization that helps you to communicate effectively. So I'm not here simply to teach grammar, rules, or vocabulary, but I'm here to help students speak the language in an effective way.
It's always lovely to hear young people to want to enhance students' soft skills. Wonderful. So what qualities do you look for in a teaching environment?
What qualities? I don't really look for a specific kind of environment, to be honest, because I have learned from my own experience that every situation is different. For us, every child can be different. So I try in my own way to create the perfect environment so each child can learn.
Lovely. Thank you very much for coming today, Adelaida. I hope to see you soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you both for the interview. Good luck with the job, Adelaida. And I couldn't see a better interviewer than Vasiliki. So we can now have 1 minute of silence for providing our best feedback for Adelaida. We don't have any guests to explain the procedure, but we can share private message through the chat box for things to provide a constructive feedback. Things that were very good or she could improve.
I actually cannot do that. The only
I can
people
only
that
message everyone, Georgia or the Zoom master.
Can you try now, please?
Thank you so much, Nikos, for giving 10 extra seconds for the evaluation. So now we can proceed with the next speech. We are changing roles and Vasiliki will be giving the next speech. And evaluating Vasiliki will be Despina Sideri. So Despina, if you like to share some information about the objectives of Vasiliki and her pathway and her personal and project objectives. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Erikos. Vasiliki is on the pathway of effective coaching, and today she's completing her pathway with this speech. The title of the speech is Life as a Pathway, and the purpose is for the member to reflect on his or her growth during the completion of an entire path. It is also to share some aspect of his or her growth during the completion of the path. The duration of the speech is from 10 to 12 minutes. Thank you, Erikos.
Thank you so much, Despina, for the objectives. And I'm reiterating, Vasiliki is finishing her second pathway tonight, and she will give a taste of her roller coaster ride with this path and perhaps some hints of how to do things better. Vasiliki Xifteri, Life as a Pathway. Life as a Pathway, Vasiliki Xifteri. The floor is yours, Vasiliki.
I finished. feel thrilled. You have no idea how thrilled I feel tonight. I'm finally finished with my pathway. Hooray! I did it! Whew. What a ride. Sometimes I felt I was in my boxing ring, fighting and fighting constantly, and the person I was fighting was really looking at me in the mirror. I had quite a challenging year because I finished my pathway in less than a year. Exactly what I promised my mentor I would do. Now, dealing with speech, I was thinking my previous speech. I told you I wish life was like a pathway. So now I'm going to tell you how was my pathway and how it impacted my life. I'm going first to start with what I did differently. I need to tell you that this is my second path. The first path was team collaboration. So I choose effective coaching because I finished the mentoring path and I wanted to combine the skills. The first thing that I did that I wanted to do was to change the way I worked. I decided to keep a meticulous record of all the speeches that I did. And I would like to share it with you because it was extremely helpful for me. And this speech is not only about me, it's about how a pathway can affect you and what you can get about it, with it, from it. So this is a document, the document, that I wrote all my speeches. It's 74 pages of work. Everything is recorded. This is the path in one look. These are the speeches. It's 14 speeches. Well, actually, it was 15 speeches. And here's what I planned. That's my planning. My HOP, High Leadership Project. And of course, this is how I put everything in the beginning. But this is how I did it quite later. Let me show you. I decided to add the pathway, the level, the project, the purpose, the title, and the introduction for the Toastmaster. Why? Because every time it was asked, and I had to go back to the agenda, and I have to find the agenda and all that. So that was a really nice, practical way for me to follow up my entire pathway. The second thing I did different was my mentor. I changed mentor, and that changed my life. I searched for a mentor that would have two things. Number one, the same professional experience as I do. She's a teacher of English as well in France. And the second one is she is a professional speaker and she's highly paid for what she's doing. So she's fantastic. That person really motivated me. The third thing that I did different was that I set myself a deadline. In my first path, I didn't have a deadline. So everything was just like, ooh, easy when it comes to time. And I wanted to be a little bit more focused, more centered, and right to the point of my goal, which was to finish by the spring. Now, of course, in every roller coaster ride, you are going to face some obstacles, right? The first thing that I faced was between September and January. I had health issues, severe health issues. I was in pain in most of our meetings. I know I didn't look like it, but that was my reality. And I managed to deal with that because I was really into what I wanted to do and focus on my goal. However, at some point, it made it very difficult for me to finish my high leadership project the way I had planned it. So I had to talk with my mentor and change stuff a little bit. The other thing is I changed my high leadership project because I had an object. I had an obstacle. The obstacle was that we had to ask for permission from the Toastmasters International about certain things that I wanted to do, and they deal with branding, and they didn't allow us to do that in a specific time. So what are we going to do? We changed the high leadership project. Yes, but here was the thing. I was so determined, and now if you ask me, I have 3 more high leadership projects to present. The other thing that I had was I wanted to finish by March 1st, and guess what? I discovered something that I had forgotten because it takes a long time to go to that level. After you finish level 5, beware, people. There's still one more speech. This one. You need to reflect on your path. So you finish level 5, and then you have one more speech, which is the reflective speech. It's not there. It's not on level 5, but it's still there, and you still need to do it in order to finish your path. Now, things I'm going to do differently. I'm certainly going to keep my mentor. That's one thing for sure. I'm certainly going to be in this club because I have to tell you that the lovely team of officers, and especially Jana, who was dealing with the agenda and everything, always find a way to accommodate my speeches. So beware, people. Be thankful to our officers. Now, the things I would do differently would be the basic formula of the speeches. Now, as most of you know, Toastmasters have a basic formula. They say, you need to know your beginning, you need to know your ending, and then you need to have 3 pointers, right? Right. Well, my crazy mentor told me, you are here to challenge the world, challenge the status quo, challenge the world as you know it. Now, here's the thing. I love challenging people. I just love what they have to give me, this extra thing. But what would I be if I didn't challenge myself? Important thing. So for next pathway, or for my next year in Toastmasters, I've decided to follow my creativity. As you've noticed already, I rarely say, good afternoon, my fellow Toastmasters and fellow guests and dear president and dear whatever. Why? Because everybody would expect that. So I go straight to the point. That's one of the pointers that my dear fellow mentor had told me, and I feel she's right. In my previous speech, I gave a narrative. There were no pointers. I really missed to tell stories. So that's another thing that I want to do. I want to start telling stories. So from now on, whenever you hear me, because I'll try to back off a little bit to give floor to the other speakers in our club, you're going to hear stories from me. That's one of my goals for the next time. The other thing that I'm going to do is to challenge myself when it comes to roles. I realized I have very few, I'm in Toastmasters since April 2017, right? And I've been an evaluator, even though I'm an English teacher, I'm a teacher. I also teach effective communication, and I'm highly paid for that. I don't dare to evaluate people. And that is my mistake, because once you evaluate, you know what else you do? You improve yourself. And I also don't take the Toastmasters role. Why? Because sometimes I mix up times and roles and stuff. So why am I here? This is the safest environment to educate myself. So I promise you guys, you're going to see me more in these roles that I really, really need to take. Closing, I would like to tell you this. Life can be as a pathway. Because here's the thing. As Dorothy started walking through her yellow brick road, she found a heart, a brain, and bravery. So what's the conclusion of the story? The road may be yellow, maybe green, maybe red, but the thing that you need to keep is your values. Once you have your values, you have your compass, and everything else is just gonna fall into place. And life can work as a pathway. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Vasiliki, and congratulations on your pathway. And thank you all for letting us all embark in that roller coaster ride. So just 1 minute of constructive feedback to Vasiliki. Thank you, everyone. And just to give some more time to Hajar to reach us, we will be now introducing our workshop. So what can we say? Sam's 12 years of experience have shown her some brilliant evaluations and some not so much. She's working on her third Distinguished Toastmaster Award and was a District 71 finalist in the evaluation contest 2 years ago. Sam is passionate about paying forward her acquired knowledge. And perhaps you're wondering, have you ever received or given useless feedback? Sam will show us how to capture and deliver evaluation report so that the speaker feels uplifted, supported, and informed. The evaluator feels in control, has organized thoughts, and doesn't need to rewrite their notes to deliver the report, with specific language examples and a framework you can use again and again in your club meeting, contests, or even at work home. So without further ado, please give a round of applause for our dear guest, Sam Warner. The floor is yours, Sam. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. How lovely to be here, and I hope that you are ready to absorb a bit of information that will hopefully hold you in good stead wherever you are. This isn't just a Toastmasters thing. As Erika said, I bet you've received rubbish feedback at some point in your life, whether it was at school, at university maybe, or even at work. You know, that kind of rubbish feedback where someone gives you half a story and then tells you, don't do that again. You go, don't do what again? What do you mean? I'll give you for instance. So some feedback I got was 6 months ago, in a meeting, you asked someone a question and they felt embarrassed. don't do it again. Okay, which meeting, which person, what was the question? Can I have some specifics, please, so that I can remedy the situation? Otherwise, it's probably going to happen again. And that's the thing, without really accurate, specific feedback, we're kind of lost at sea. You've probably heard some novice Toastmasters who don't feel like they're worthy to make an evaluation of someone's speech yet. And they'll go, it was wonderful, it was great, it was fantastic. Oh, I really loved it. I love the way that they said this. Okay, why? Why did you love that? How did it add to what they'd said or did? I always want to know why, because that's where the golden nugget lies, the why. I could observe that if Georgia gave a speech and she moved around on stage, I could say, I like the fact that Georgia moved around on stage. Well, why? Why did I like the fact that she moved around? Why was that a good thing? Well, did I notice specifically that Georgia was using her body to represent a timeline on stage, which helped the audience to stay with her in her story? That might also be an opportunity for a point for improvement, because a lot of people, when they do a timeline, they'll say here, here, and here, which of course to the audience is back to front. In English, we write from left to right. So for the audience, if you're doing past, present, and future, the past is here, present, and future, which is back to front for the speaker. But when we deliver any talks at all to the audience, we're doing it for the audience, not just to the audience. And that's it. It's our gift to the audience, so that that doesn't become a barrier, because there'll be people in the audience thinking, oh, she's done that timeline back to front. And now they're not listening anymore. But looking out for those very specific nuggets is how you paint that picture of why things worked well. In the same way, you wouldn't expect someone to receive feedback that is all pointing out the points for improvement, because not only would that individual feel quite crushed, even if they're an advanced speaker, but the new people in the room might be devastated to think, that's what I've got to look forward to when I do a speech. And their anxiety levels will rise. They're the ones that will say, put me down for a speech, and then they'll put it off. And oh, no, I'm not quite ready. Can you do it next time? Oh, no, can you do it next time, please? Because their anxiety is eating away at them, because they're anticipating bad news. Their own imposter syndrome is waiting for someone just to confirm how rubbish they are. And we all have that little imposter inside us. We all have an ego. Some of us would love to think we don't, but sorry to break it to you, we all have one. Some people's egos are larger than others, but it's definitely there. And it's important to recognise that we have to prime our brain to receive feedback. So you can't go ploughing in with a point for improvement at the beginning. You have to prime the brain to receive feedback by pointing out some of the things that went well, regardless of whether they're a novice or an advanced speaker. There will be some things that they did that worked well. And why did they work well? And there will then be an opportunity for you to point out one or two things depending on their level. If they're a novice on level 1, I would never give them more than 2 recommendations. If they're doing their icebreaker, I only give them 1. Because they're at their most sensitive, even if they've spoken for decades because they're a teacher. Yeah? Or maybe they've been a trainer elsewhere. Or maybe they used to speak on stage doing their own thing. But now they've come here to polish things up. The last thing they want is to think, oh no, I'm going to get criticised. That horrible word, criticism. Nobody wants that. But what we do need to hear is what's working well, so we can carry on doing that. I've had people come into Toastmaster meetings as a guest and they've said, I'd quite like to join, but I don't want any of that flim-flam about what worked well. Just tell me what went wrong. And I'm like, but that's not what we do here. That doesn't work. You'll feel rubbish. Everyone in the room will be like, it's not ever going to work. So perhaps this club isn't right for you if that's all you want from the club. It's not a good fit. And I think it has to be a good fit when you have new people coming along. Now, what I'm going to do for you is pretend that I am listening to a speech, and I'm going to show you exactly how I write my notes, because one of the things a lot of people struggle with is how to even write the notes so that you can report out afterwards. So I'm hoping this will be the most useful to you. So I'm going to share my screen. Now it's going to look a bit odd because I'm actually sharing my iPhone camera, which is supported on this gooseneck. I have you on my screen. I can see all of you as well, so you can smile and things. There's no hiding, but hopefully you can see my hand and my pen. And off we go. We shall pretend that there is a speech going on. Well, obviously, just before the speech, I need to prepare my page. So what I do is I draw a line. It's not down the middle. It's deliberately 2/3 and 1/3, because I'm anticipating that there will be more good things to talk about than points for improvement. So I want space to write all the good stuff. At the very, very top, I'm going to make sure that there's enough room for me to write the person's name. I also want to write the title of their speech. I want to know what project they're on and the pathway, etc. And then I'm also going to write time, because it might be relevant that if the person has spoken under time or over time, that might be a relevant point for improvement, especially if you've got someone who does it regularly and it just needs to be reinforced. Also, if they're 7 minutes and 29 seconds, is that not to be applauded? Going on to the main body of my report, I'm going to write see, hear, feel, and summary. Again, I've experienced personally a few times where someone has delivered an evaluation and then they've simply stopped speaking. And I'm like, oh, that's the end, is it? Or they've finished on a nugget of improvement instead of wrapping it up with something uplifting, supportive, and positive. That's what it's all about here at Toastmasters. We want that person to go away from our meeting thinking, I can't wait to book another speech in. That's what we really want. So where we've got see, hear and feel, what I'm really saying is, what did I see? What did I hear? What did I feel? And that helps me to jot things down. I don't need to write great big long sentences. And I'm not writing some really posh shorthand like Pitman shorthand with the dots and squiggles. I'm just using words. But I don't need to write great big long sentences because it's where I'm writing it on the page that tells me something. So I hope you don't mind, Georgia. I'm going to use you as an example when I'm talking about a speaker, okay?
Go ahead.
Pretend that Georgia is delivering her speech in front of me. When I've delivered my evaluations introduction, obviously I've got the details on top, so that makes life easier for me. And then straight away, I don't have to look very hard at my notes because my hand is looking right from the start. What's she going to do in the first 10 seconds? because I want to know, just as Vasiliki said, how are you starting? Are you going, dear Toastmasters and fellow guests, or are you going, bang, here's my start, I'm going to get your attention, here's a statistic, here's a quote, here's a mime, here's dancing to something, here's something to grab you. That's what I would really love to see at the beginning. It could be something very quiet. It doesn't have to be big and frenetic. It could be something almost silent to draw people in. But I'm looking for that stagecraft. So what did I see at the very beginning? But also, I'm looking to see eye contact. Now on Zoom, obviously, you can tell when someone's looking in at the camera. I'm looking off to the side slightly because I'm looking at all of your faces right now. But if I was delivering a speech, I would be delivering right into the camera. So it's just you and me, babe. Just you and me. So what did I see? I saw that she had great eye contact. And that's all I have to write, because it's in the commendation side, the 2/3 side. That other one we'll call the recommendation side, okay? So what did I see? Great eye contact. And if there was something about that eye contact that I wanted to say, I could add another word. But again, I don't have to write War and Peace about it. I might also notice that she had some gestures that were appropriate to her speech. So I could write gestures. Again, I don't have to write loads, because I've put it in the right column, or the left column, the correct column. What I might notice is that whilst Georgia had great gestures in that she'd made an effort to include them, some of the gestures were out of shot. So when I notice that, I can just write out of shot. And I know that that's about gestures. So now that is a recommendation. So I can big up Georgia's brilliant gestures. They were really great. They were animated. When she was describing something small, she went like this, really tiny. Sometimes she came right up to the camera and I felt really connected to her. But there were other times when she was speaking and I noticed her hands dropped below the screen and I just saw her fingertips. So I'd love to recommend to Georgia that she tips the camera down just a smidge like that, and then we might be able to catch all of her lovely gestures. Hopefully you'll see by the way that I've described that, it didn't really feel like a nugget of improvement at all. It just felt like a little suggestion for how to enhance it next time. And our brain is really sensitive to the language that we use. So that's why I don't use criticism or critique, words like that. I never use the words should or must. Because who am I to say you need to do something a specific way? Who am I to tell you must do this or mustn't do that? Even if somebody's done something that I feel does them no service whatsoever, I might still start that sentence with, I'd like to suggest. Or if you were to deliver this speech again, I would love you to try X, Y, and Z. And for those who are more direct in their speech, they might think, oh, this is a bit fluffy, but that's because the human brain is a sensitive little thing. That little lizard brain inside our head is always trying to protect us, always trying to keep us safe, and it's very, very sensitive. It is the one that makes us feel the fight, the flight, the freeze. It's the one that tells us, if you stand up in front of everyone, they're all going to laugh at you. Or someone's going to point at you and go, you're a liar. Your lizard brain is doing that. So you need to calm it down by letting it know that not only did it do a great job, but there's an opportunity to try something new next time. So that's only a good thing. So back to our sheet here. I might hear some really delicious things. And I know that we often have a grammarian and an R counter in our Toastmaster meetings. But that doesn't mean you can't grab at least one delicious phrase. Maybe it's some alliteration that they used, you know, perfect purple poppies or something like that, and it was sort of spat out deliberately. So you're not just commenting on the alliteration of the three things, which was really beautifully said, you're also commenting on how it was performed, the impact of using that at that point in the speech. So here you might say some really specific stuff. So it might put perfect purple poppies. But what I want to do is try and watch the speaker for as long as possible, for as much as possible. So I don't want to be staring at my notes all the time. I just want to make light notes. And then when I report back, again, I don't need to write a script for my report back because I know what I means. So when I'm reporting back, I can talk about the great eye contact that I saw that Georgia had with us. I felt really included. You know, she had us on a good position on the screen and I felt like she was talking directly to me. You can say that because you were there. You can see, you remember it. You don't have to write eye contact directly to me, was in the centre. You will remember it, I promise you. You will remember it. There's a fear that we won't, but I promise you will. Onto the here, we might also use any noises. So again, we had this beautiful music at the start of a speech. That would be something you would say, oh, wonderful music at the start, what an impact that had. You might also talk about specific grammatical devices they used that was really clever. So I talked about alliteration, so that, you know, they're using the same letter at the beginning. But it might be that the what you've heard is them using the power of three: health, wealth and happiness, the good, the bad, the ugly, and demonstrating how easy it is for the human ear to remember that kind of dialogue. And I just think that's a really great way of remember, it's a teachable moment when you're giving an evaluation report to the class, if you like, in Toastmasters. You're sharing with them. You are the vehicle, the conduit by which you're sharing your observations. What did I see? What did I hear? How did it make me feel, which is more personal? And then to summarize. And that way you are being in service to that member by helping them understand what went well and what could be done even better. Moving on to how did I feel? This is where we pay more attention to the content. Was it something that I could follow easily? So you might talk about whether the structure was easy to follow. If it was, you put it in that column. If you found it kind of wandered all over the place and you weren't really sure where it was going, you might put structure over here instead, and then kind of do a wiggly line to indicate it kind of went all over the place. I wasn't really sure where you were going. And that's a way of expressing that someone didn't clearly signpost what they were talking about. And you can smile when you deliver the report. A warm smile. You can have fun with it sometimes. You can be jokey, but not at the expense of the speaker. What else might I talk about when I talk about how I feel? Was there a conclusion? Or could that be another opportunity for a point for improvement where they did just stop speaking and they could have used a conclusion to knock it out of the park by making it really clear, not only am I giving you something to take away with you today, I've wrapped up this speech. And a really lovely way of doing it is to bring you back to what you started saying in your introduction. It's closing that loop. And that's a really lovely device to use when you're speaking. So noticing that is a good thing. So what else might we put in the feel? Well, was it emotional? Did you make me feel? Or actually, is another point for improvement the fact that it was obviously an emotional speech by the words that you used. However, you delivered it really quickly and upbeat, and you were smiling and you were talking about someone dying. So I was really confused. So you talk about whether you were congruent and the impact it had on the audience. So did it match the body language, the voice, the feeling of that moment with what you think they were trying to convey in that moment? A lot of people struggle with, oh, I can't find points for improvement, but they're all there. These little nuggets are in there to help people just get even better at what they do. And lastly, we can hardly advise somebody else in their speech to have a conclusion or a summary at the end if we don't do it ourselves. Let's be a walking, talking example. So what I would normally do is I would pull out my favourite bits from the nuggets that worked so well. So overall is how you would start to deliver the summary. And I'm normally saying that as the red light goes on of the 2 to 3 minutes in an evaluation report. So overall, I loved her fantastic gestures and eye contact. Felt like she used her language and grammatical devices really effectively. So I'm picking all the things I love. I could even number them and say, that's number 1, that's number 2, and I'm going to mention number 3. 1, 2, 3. I would imagine you'd have lots of things on this page. So you're just cherry picking. Remember, there's no real right or wrong. It's just you're picking the ones you want to use today. And then pointing out that nugget for improvement and then wrapping it up with one line at the end, which uplifts them and makes them want to book another speech. That's the way to do it. I'll be around later if you've got any more questions, but otherwise, that's it.
Sam, thank you so much. It was quite exciting, and it really reminded me of the 3 kinds of processes that we have to understand things: the visual, the auditorial, and the kinesthetic, which somewhat combined with your points. Thank you so much for that. And perhaps we're going for a break. Or maybe we have the timer report for the prepared speeches. Georgia.
Yes, Mr. Toastmaster of the day, because we have to vote. Unfortunately, not all of our speakers today were within time. Leida was 9:54 minutes, and Vasiliki was within time, which is 11:36. So because we are only left with 1 speaker, we don't vote today. But thank you very much for speaking.
Thank you, Georgia. So we're not casting a vote for the best speaker. And probably this would be a good time to have perhaps a picture for all of us to remember. And then afterwards, a 5-minute break. Thank you, Despina. It's a moment to treasure.
Your hair, your smile. It's yes, a lovely action. All this. Ready? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Vasiliki. And I'm not sure who is preparing the agenda for next meeting, or we can go straight to a break. Okay, a 5-minute break for everyone, a short one. Sorry for that, because we are a little bit late. So we are. Thank you for that. So we have learned so many interesting stuff for providing uplifting, supportive, and informed evaluations. So without further ado, let's call on the evaluators. And our first evaluator is Takis Gounaris, who is evaluating the speech of Adelaida. The floor is yours, Takis.
Thank you very much, Erikos. So, Adelaida, what a lovely speech you gave today. Really impressive. Well done. I found it was super innovative how you had a second party talking in the speech. not only were you speaking, but also Vasiliki was in the speech. I've never witnessed such innovation before. And I really felt I was witnessing a real interview. And in fact, I was wondering throughout the speech, whether you actually were expecting the questions beforehand, or whether the questions were random and you had to kind of act on the spot. I definitely learned from this example. You did many cool things throughout the interview in terms of content. For example, you explained why you might be suitable for the role. You gave examples that you're active and you like doing certain things. And you explained really coherently what you enjoy and what you like about teaching. You faced real interview questions. Why you would like to apply to HAU, why you are suitable, and you gave personal examples. For example, how you deal with stress. In my experience with interviews, I believe this interview followed the typical interview structure. Adelaide, your objective today was to practice the skills needed to present yourself for an interview in the future, I suppose. And it seems that you have done exactly that. You have achieved this objective. I mean, I certainly know if I had never done an interview beforehand, after your lovely speech, I have a much better idea of what to expect in an interview. And I really found it great that you had pauses in certain sections. For example, when Vasiliki asked you a question, you kind of paused, you thought about the question, and then you answered. So how can I challenge you in the future in your next speech? Well, perhaps with vocal variety, you could stress certain points more. You could express yourself perhaps in a more powerful way. If you were more expressive, it helps influence your interviewer, so then you can get that perfect dream job that you're trying to get. And related to this is that if you could show more enthusiasm next time through facial expressions or body language, even more than you have already shown, that would also help influence the interviewer and help you succeed in any such situation in the future. So all in all, it was a lovely and innovative speech, and we all learned what it takes for anyone to nail that challenging interview. So thank you really much, Adelaide. Back to you, Erikos.
Thank you so much, Takis Gunaris. And Adelaide probably is more than ready to face every single interview she has in the future. And probably we need to see all your evaluation sheets so we can see if you have integrated all the new information, but that might be called upon later. So the second evaluator would be Despina Sideri. She's evaluating the speech of Vasiliki Xifteri. The floor is yours, Despina. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Erikos. And thank you, Vasiliki, for your great speech today. First of all, I would like to congratulate you for completing your path of effective coaching. And I'm looking forward for your storytelling from now and on. I like a lot your introduction with the Eye of the Tiger song. It was very enthusiastic and take us right away in the mood of celebration of completing a pathway. Another thing that I liked a lot was that your speech was educational today. It was educational for us who are newers in the club, like me, who is 1 year, and hearing an experienced member like you, how you completed your path, and show to us tips how to manage your time, and how you the notes that you take from your when you write in your speeches, and during the level of your path, and help me also to have a structure for me when I am I'm during this pathway. And I like a lot that you were optimistic despite all these obstacles that you faced, and how you communicated this to us, how joyful you were, and also that you emphasize on the challenges, that you like challenges. And all this have to do with the title of the speech, which was Life as a Pathway, because life is full of obstacles, of challenges, and it was a very nice feeling that we took from you, and I like that a lot. What I would like to suggest you, if you would like to also have this speech on the hybrid meeting, because we saw you know only from the head and above, and it is a speech that it is has many things to say, to point out to us, and you can be more communicative. You can express it more, and with your hands open, with gestures, with going down the room. I think that maybe on the stage it would be better. And another one was when you finish your speech, you were out of it. I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Now, yes.
Now you did you hear me, or do you want me to repeat it? Okay.
Your last
Thank
point.
you a lot. Yes, my last point was about when you were finishing your speech. It was like fading out, because I had the feeling that it was out of energy. While in the beginning it was very enthusiastic and with the song, and let's go to this. In the end of the speech, finishing the speech, was like fading out. And I would like there to have maybe a band, maybe something else. Yes, that's it. So good luck with the next pathway, and thank you.
Thank you, Despina, for the insightful evaluation. It was a rather bumpy one with all the unstable connection, but I think we got the point. Thank you so much. And Tony, apologies for not evaluating for the evening. So Georgia can have the time report for the evaluators. Probably we're missing the votes.
Yes, again, unfortunately, not all of our evaluators are within time. Takis did 1 minute and 37, and Despina did 4 minutes 25. But I also applied the rule that when we have technical difficulties, we have 30 minutes, 30 seconds extra. So your actual time, Despina, was 3 minutes 55. Thank you.
Thank you. So 3 minutes 55 she's not she is eligible.
No, because
No.
it's 2 to 3 minutes the evaluation and 30 seconds extra, which means anybody above 3:30 minutes is not eligible to be voted for the best evaluator of the meeting.
Thank you. So we're not launching a poll. We're not casting our vote for the evaluation as well. So now,
Rikos, could I please suggest something?
Sure, of course.
Because Tony, you will be presenting the club with the evaluation contest, and we have time. I suggest you can be the table topics evaluator and evaluate each one of the speakers. Would you be interested in that? Following what Sam just no? Yes? Yes? All right. So there'll be 4 minutes, I think, 3 to 4 minutes, and he will be evaluating all the table topic speakers. Thank you, Tony.
Perfect. Thank you for that, Georgia. And so, as you have all noticed, we have now reached the fun part of the meeting, which is the part we enhance our impromptu speaking skills, which is equally as important to our everyday lives. So, Samir, thank you very much for joining us. The floor is yours for the table topic session. Thank you.
Thank you, Rikos. Thank you so much. Spring is around the corner, so people are usually happy, joyful, and optimistic. And we are usually tempted at that mood to buy new things. You today are sellers. You are running shops where you sell some products. And you want to seize this opportunity to sell as much product as possible to your customers because it's spring, they are happy, it's your opportunity. But these products are not normal ones, they are weird. And you have to train yourself for some promotional speeches in order to convince your customers to buy these products. So are you ready to train yourself to sell some weird products? Are you ready? Okay, great. Please give me the permission to share my screen. Okay. So the title of the session, who can promote these weird products? So I just want to remind you about some rules. So you have between 1 and 2 minutes. At 1 minute, you will have the green lights, 1 minute and a half yellow lights, and then at 2 minutes, red light, and you have to finish your improvisation. And one rule to be respected, absolutely no serious speeches. Try to be as funny as the product you are selling. So who is the volunteer, the first volunteer? I will show the product that he is going to try to sell for customer. Who is gonna be the first volunteer? Sam, nice, great. You are the first volunteer. So I will show you the product. Are you ready? Great. Here is the product that you are going to sell. Umbrella for the average rain avoid.
Madam Master, everyone in between, I know that you have in your possession some stylish shoes. Whether they are those gorgeous patent leather loafers, or maybe they're some swanky Christian Louboutins with the red soles. Maybe they are vertiginous 6-inch heels, or perhaps they're just a rather nice pair of flats. We don't want our treasured and precious shoes to be destroyed. We want to keep them for as long as possible, and this product is absolutely the winning ticket. It fixes onto the front of any shoe, any size. It's truly the ubiquitous shoe umbrella. With its snazzy little stripes and its little funky size, it doesn't get in the way. It just protects the toes of your shoes. The most important part, it's the part everybody looks at. why wouldn't you buy these gorgeous little shoe umbrellas so that you know, no matter what type of day it is, you're going to arrive in style, whether it's at work, whether it's out, out, or perhaps you just want to look fine and fancy all day long. It's so easy to just clip them on, put up the little umbrellas, and off you go. And then as soon as you're out of that pouring rain, you can just slide them down, unclip them, and pop them in your pocket, or handbag if you prefer. These retail at just £5. £5! It's tiny, considering the value it gives you for years. Would you like one box or two?
I like two. What a great speech. It's a complete speech. You were playing music. You were selling by playing the music with your voice. It's really fantastic. Thank you, Sam. Thank you so much. Who is the next volunteer? This product is really so weird. Let's have fun together. Who is the second volunteer? Maybe Joseph? Do you want to give it a try? Great, nice. Give it a warm applause to our dear Joseph. So the product that you will try to sell is mobile toilet paper.
So you're going to the shop and you're thinking, how am I going to take this thing around to make sure that it's portable everywhere? And you're buying all sizes, different sizes, but here you go. You have your solution with this mobile toilet paper. And the beauty of it is that if your thinking goes wrong, you could even clean it up a bit around. You can also just swipe the sweat out of when it's summer and it's hot. So very comfortable. Besides, imagine it's summer, okay? And you're buying the hat to cover yourself, and then you're carrying something to wipe all the sweat around. This thing is amazing because you have 2-in-1 with just one thing. You're covering yourself and protecting yourself from the sun. And the minute you start sweating, voila, there you go. You grab the toilet paper off that sweat and the shyness of sweating. And there you go. I'm shiny and cool and all this heat doesn't get to me. So go ahead and buy this amazing thing so you will look amazing summer and winter. Back to you, Table Topics Master.
What a creative speech. Thank you, Joseph. Actually, you dealt well with the situation. It's a little bit hard product to sell, but you did well. Thank you, Joseph. Who is the third volunteer? Let's see. Okay. Who is going to be the next volunteer? Stephanie, can you give it a try?
Yep, sure.
Great. Thank you, Stephanie. So the product is napkin pants. Napkin pants.
We've all been in a situation where we're in the toilet, our hands are dripping, and we don't want to wipe them on our trousers and look like we've wet ourselves. So what better than the innovation of napkin pants, where we've got removable towels that enable us to just, in that easy and accessible way, wipe ourselves off and get going with our day. There's nothing worse than water streaks down your trousers. So stop, reduce those embarrassing moments, get yourself a little bit prepared, and help on these days when we are moving through, washing our hands, what it feels like every 20 minutes of the day as we move back to a new normal. Help promote good hygiene and cleanliness, and also make yourself look stylish with those excellent supports for when we sit down as well, with that extra bit of cushioning. Thank you very much. I'm hoping you are as persuaded as I am. I'm looking forward to stopping getting those water stains all down my trousers, and also for making sure that I'm nice and comfortable wherever I sit. Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you. Actually, it's the most stylish pants that you may see in your life. Thank you. Thank you again. Who is the fourth volunteer? Who is the fourth volunteer? Let's see.
Adelaida has her hand up.
Okay. Adelaida? Is that the correct pronunciation of your name?
Yes, Adelaida.
Great, great. So thank you again for being courageous to do this exercise. And your product is butter stick. Can you sell this weird product, Adelaide?
Do you wake up in the morning when you want to eat something and maybe you want to put butter in it, but I don't know what happens in your hands. You get very sticky because you take the knife, the things, and you put it there, and then you don't know. You don't have napkins, by the way, because you don't have a pants with napkins behind. What about having the butter stick? You can put it everywhere, by the way. You want some butter? You have to have the bread, but doesn't matter. In the morning, you don't have to have a knife to work around, find these kind of things. It's very easy. You take it and you put it there. And then it's something that you don't need something else, basically. Like, like a lipstick. It's small and you can use it everywhere you want. So why not have this kind of small thing called butter stick with you everywhere? It's also €5. Why not? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Adelaida. Thank you so much. Actually, it's the weirdest product you may see. Butter stick, instead of having a knife, and you just have one device and you can use it as much as you can. Thank you again. So I think we will have last improvisation, a last product to sell. Who is going to be the last one? Who is going to be the last one? Let's see. Actually, I want to hear Vasiliki. Vasiliki? Is it okay? Yes, I want to hear you.
Okay.
Selling a weird product. Yes.
Yeah. Here you go.
Okay.
So I'm ready.
You're ready?
Yeah.
This is the product.
Guys, how many of you had to stay behind the screens of a computer, like for most parts of the day? Just raise your hands, please. You see, every one of you is having his eyes really, really tired. This has also an implication, because when you have tired eyes, guess what? You have headaches. And you're not that productive when you have headaches, are you? I have the solution for you. There is this drop, this eye drop, that can work miracles. And because we value it so much, we don't want to miss a drop. Each drop can be worth a golden opportunity for you to revitalize your eyes and make sure you are without headaches and in a clear eyesight all day long. Our perfect product, it's called the Tube Spectacles Drop. Now I can tell you, the minute you get it, it's the minute you're gonna have everything in your life with your computer out in a wonderful space. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Actually, it's a high-level speech, promotional speech. Thank you so much. It was so amazing, so fantastic. Thank you, dear Toastmasters, for your participation in this session. It was really enjoying, and I hope that you will try to sell more weird products at your home. Train yourself to sell such weird products is the best thing to do to go out of your comfort zone. So back to you, Mr. Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, Samir, for the hilarious product selling table topic session. I would suggest Georgia first to have the timers report, and then we can see. Everybody's eligible.
Sorry. My mistake. Please do not vote yet. We need the time confirmation.
It's okay, because everybody's eligible. Go ahead and vote, and then I'll give you the report.
Thank you, sorry. It's marginal. Whoever hasn't voted yet.
So we are casting a vote after.
No. We have a tie. The next person to vote can decide the result. Maybe there are no more. I end the poll. Georgia, you tell me.
Have you voted, Nikos?
I don't think I can, because I'm handling the vote.
You might not be able to vote on the poll, but you have a vote, so you can decide.
Yes, Nikos and I have to vote by chat because we are hosting the meeting, but I think we can end the poll because the rest of the people have voted. Okay, please mark the results, Nikos, and I will send you my vote too. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. So everybody was eligible, and I am posting the names. I'm posting again the names for Tony to. Sorry for that. Sorry. I can't seem to post the name again. So if you can, Tony, to give us the evaluation for the table topic session. Sorry for that.
Yes, thank you very much. It's my pleasure. And boy, let me tell you, what a blast. What variety. Okay, here we go. Samir, what can I say? Great communication, great contact. You drew me in. I mean, that warm, good pace. The only thing I would say is put a little more thrust into "Are you ready?" It's not "Are you ready?" It's "Are you ready?" Next, Sam, Mr. Sam. Well, I closed my eyes to make it difficult for you. Okay, because I figured, well, it was so beautiful, so perfect that maybe if I just put you at a disadvantage, it would work. I would find something. I'm sorry, I did not find anything. Maybe I'm underqualified, but you were perfect. Joseph, very colorful, warm, expressive. Okay, the only thing I would suggest to you is be careful with Zoom adjusted so that you're in the middle of the picture so we can see you better. I saw a wall. Okay, Stephanie, clear, good pace, fantastic eye contact, put a little more emotion, be a little more Mediterranean when you talk. Adelaja, well, as always, magnetic, an attention grabber, very photogenic. Adelaida, slow down, separate the words, pause in the beginning. You sort of catch the rhythm later on, but in the beginning, start slow. Vasiliki, I'm not qualified to judge you. You were perfect as far as I can see. Okay. There is one thing. Be very careful with your syntax. It's each goal can be a golden opportunity for you, or each goal can be your golden opportunity. Careful with the English, because you're perfect in any other way, but that may place you at a disadvantage. I think I covered everyone else. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Tony. You were so fast and effective. And now have finished the evaluation part, which was quite new for us tonight, and very interesting idea, Georgia. Thank you very much for that. Now we are proceeding with the reporting part. If you don't have anything to add, Georgia, for your timing report, maybe.
Well, Mr. Toastmaster, I would like to give the times of the speakers of the table topic session.
Sure,
So some was just on the money, 2:24, some great. Joseph, 1:37, Stephanie, 1:08, Adelaida, 1:10, Vasiliki, 1:43, and Tony, you did 5 evaluations in 1.45. That's a record. You had 4 minutes, just letting you know that. Okay, back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you for so much, Georgia. And as I explained before, we were not having other supportive roles in the interest of time. Sorry for that. So probably I'm giving the floor to Stephanie, our general evaluator, for the evaluation of the meeting. Thank you, Stephanie. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Ericus. And that was a fantastic meeting. I really enjoyed myself. I'm really pleased that I came to join you today and to get a completely different experience for me, but also the enthusiasm for the room was really fantastic. There were a number of things that I thought you did really well this evening. One of the elements that I love is the fact that you record the session, so you're able to play back to see how you acted within a session, and also to reflect back on feedback and evaluations that you might have missed because you really want to be in the moment. And I think that helps you stay in the moment rather than focusing on taking notes and having to kind of remember everything as you go through. The session itself was really dynamic, and there were so many different elements to it as well this evening, with a workshop as well as all the speakers and table topics. So it kept us engaged throughout. One thing I'd caution is trying to pack too much in. It's a 2-hour slot. That's quite a long time. So give people the time and space to relax as well as to be engaged. I was engaged all evening. That's actually quite tiring. And I sometimes benefit from having a 10-minute break in the middle where I can collect my thoughts and then come back, go and get a drink, have a chat, but it's not full on for the full 2 hours. One thing I was glad to see was the evaluation of table topics. That's something that we do as routine in our club, and I think it's really helpful because, especially for new speakers and guests, it's a good way to get feedback that's a little bit more informal, but you're getting that response every time. Now on to some of the roles that we had this evening. The first was Erica's, who was our Toastmaster, and I thought you did a really fantastic dynamic job this evening. It felt like the meeting was in control. You knew what was going on, when, and were able to introduce people really well. You also introduced the meeting with the tone that we wanted to set. And I think that you mentioned right at the start, one constant that gives warmth to our hearts, and a meeting with speeches that will make our hearts blossom. I thought it was wonderful to reach out back to the theme of the meeting, but also to set the tone of inclusivity and to welcome me as a guest as well. A couple of things that might be worth considering for your next time as Toastmaster. table topics is not the fun part. The whole evening is the fun part, and the speeches are such a valuable experience that can give us a lot of insight, both as watchers and as speakers ourselves. And where there are changes in the agenda over the course of the evening, it's helpful to give the signposts to participants so they know, oh, we've dropped this out or we're adding this in, and it helps us follow along so we're not surprised when it comes along. Next up then, we had Georgia as our president, or as your president, and I thought you brought fantastic energy to the club, and personally it made me feel very welcome, and you gave that warmth and energy and passion that helped again set a tone of inclusivity, welcoming, and made people feel as though they could speak and celebrate the successes the club has experienced. I thought it was great that you introduced the core principles and the motto, and were able to share with all the members some of the achievements we've experienced over, or you've experienced over the past couple of months. One thing I'd note is your introduction was quite long relative to the timing. So if that is the case and you have that time, either bringing it into the AOB at the end or allocating more time in the agenda. So we've got that free-flowing session right at the start. Next off, we had Georgia as timer, and it's quite a fundamental role to us. You clearly outlined the expectations, how you were going to measure time, and you then measured that very clearly through the use of backgrounds. I particularly liked the use of your end goal visual, which then rotated around the screen to make it a little bit more visual and drew my attention as a viewer. One thing that I think would be fantastic addition is why time's important. Why bother? Why measure time? Why is it important to Toastmasters? Why is it important to your wider life? And that's really the role that the timer plays, is helping people understand the value that time brings. Next up, then we've got our evaluators, and I evaluated two of you this evening. So first up, we had Taki, and you really clearly outlined the objectives of the speech, the pathway that the individual was on, and you also were very motivating, and you started in a motivating way when you were delivering your evaluation to talk about how innovative the speaker was and how that really engaged you. You gave a couple of examples about what you liked, what you thought was clear, and an example about how you thought that the speaker had dealt with stress. You also spoke about challenging you, as opposed to this is a recommendation. It's to say, next time, what are the things you could do even better to challenge yourself as well as challenge others in the room? One of the things that might be worth considering next time is your use of tone. So when you were delivering both constructive and also positive feedback, your tone remained fairly neutral, and that made it a little bit difficult to differentiate where you were talking about something they'd excelled in versus an area for opportunity. Finally, then, we had Despina, and you gave a wonderful introduction to the speaker, the structure of the speech, and some of the points that you found particularly beneficial around the introduction and the educational nature of the speech. This helped me understand how you'd interpreted the speech and how that then met the objectives that the speaker had set out. There are a couple of areas that you may want to consider in future. The first is around the benefit that the evaluation might have. So we're in a virtual environment. How could the speaker have used that virtual stage in order to emphasize the points that they're trying to make? We're not in a hybrid situation at the moment, and whilst we might move into it, let's use the tools that we have available. So what is it that they could have done in order to embrace those tools to maximum advantage? I also think that you could benefit from summarizing your evaluation. At the end, it closed quite quickly when talking about running out of energy and passing on good luck for the future. But really, summing up, I thought that the way that you use the educational nature was really beneficial. I learned a lot. I would learn even more if we engaged X, Y, and Z. So overall, I thought it was a really engaging speech. Thank you very much, Georgia. I now see the little arrows, the little bells. I'll close here and back to you for the Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. So many useful information packed in such a small time limit. So probably we have reached up to the part for the best role taker. We are voting for that as well. So if you are ready to cast your vote.
Some more votings. Please keep on voting.
I think we're good, Nikos.
Okay, thank you. Maybe you can keep voting in the background. So this was a wonderful meeting, but it would not be complete if we were not presenting the voting results, which actually is another determination of what we liked and what we did not like. So I will be presenting the voting results.
Give a little bit of time to Nikos because he has to prepare the awards. Can we go to the guests' comments in between?
Sure. Am I giving the floor to you, Georgia? Okay. So, Aphrodite, probably you don't have exactly the opportunity to give us some final thoughts in the table topic session, but how did you find our meeting? It was what you expected?
Yes, do you hear me?
Yes, we do.
I don't know a lot of things about Toastmasters, to tell you the truth. I really like your communication. I don't know how to say it. It's really difficult for me to speak in English, to tell you the truth. I haven't spoken for a long time. I really like you are very happy that you're here. And it's really good. I would like to be as a guest in another one so I can see it from the start. Probably I have to read some things first in order to understand the whole situation and how the roles and the speeches and how you do it, all the stuff. I was really glad that I was here, and I hope to see you again.
We were also glad that you were here as well. Thank you for coming, and please join us whenever you can. And Joseph, thank you for being here. Just share some views and comments. You are an experienced Toastmaster.
I enjoyed the level of energy and everyone. It was really fun to be in this meeting. Well done to the table topics master. I really enjoyed this session, and it just made me smile and get rid of the stress and stuff all the day. It was the best session, best distressor. So well done to everyone, and I really enjoyed seeing the evaluations on table topics. And I also enjoyed seeing your voting on the best role. That is something that I have to admit, this is the first time, the first club I joined, that I see it, but well done on that. I really love it.
Thank you for that. It's really interesting because it motivates us to deliver 100% in every single role. So I believe that we are ready to present the results of the poll, and we can carry on afterwards with the rest of the guests. Sorry, we are starting with the best role taker. Drum rolls, and the best role taker would be Samir. Congratulations, first time here, and you surprised us all with your table topic session skills. Thank you so much for being here. So the next, the Enthusiasm Award. We have a specific award which is given from the previous session to the next session, that to the person that projects the enthusiasm in the meeting and gives us all something to think about for the next one. So I'm not quite sure who is passing this award. Georgia? You are passing the award, so thank you. So the drum roll, and the Enthusiasm Award is given for this night to Joseph. Thank you, Joseph. Thank you so much for being here. And now, the best table topic speaker. So I have some drum rolls, please. And the best table topic speaker would be Sam. It was a perfect workshop and a perfect impromptu speech. Thank you. Thank you, Sam. Congratulations. I don't believe you have any more awards for tonight. So thank you all for being here. It was a wonderful meeting, and I'm passing the floor to our dear president, who is making some final comments and adjourning the meeting. The floor is yours, Georgia. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Enrico. Thank you, everybody, for coming today. It was another kind of experience. We share your enthusiasm. We had advanced Toastmasters, we had our regular members, we had special guests, and we have a newcomer for Toastmasters in general. So we had it all. I have to say, and I'm addressing this to my members, now you can see how lucky we are to have this wonderful international guest, because the workshop was amazing. The cut was amazing, Sam. The table topics, of course, now you know why this is my favorite one. Samir is, famous all over the world. And of course, you saw what Stephanie delivered as a general evaluation. I mean, I have no words. We just experiences. We've been overtimed, and thank you for understanding that, Stephanie. We had a very long agenda today because we had a last-minute changes, but we take in consideration what you told us. Thank you for being here. You're welcome anytime. The club meets the 2nd, the 3rd, and the 4th Wednesday of every month, and we are always online and in person in hybrid meetings for the month of April onwards. It was a pleasure, and now I would like to officially adjourn the meeting, and we're going to stay a little bit longer to socialize on Zoom if you'd like to join us. Other than that, thank you very much for coming.